Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm playing with a palette that I played with not too long ago. If you joined in my live New Year's Eve look, you saw I played with this palette for the first time. This is a Shark Tilbury palette and it's their Bella Sophia palette. And it's one that my dad got me for Christmas. He actually got my mum and sister one, but slightly different shades in all of them. And if you watched the previous year, you know he also picked out this eyeshadow for Christmas 2023, which I really liked, and he does a very good job of picking out eyeshadow palettes, clearly, because this one is also equally beautiful, and I had fun playing with it on New Year's Eve. But I wanted to play with it again because when I film live I have to do it off my phone, so it's not always the best quality, and I thought I'd turn it more into an eyeshadow tutorial, because I did put on my community what videos you want to see from me, and someone said eyeshadow tutorials, so I'm going to try and do a bit more tutorial like videos here and there as well. But any future requests, as always, leave them down below and I'll get onto them. But yeah, let's have a little play with this palette. So this is what the palette looked like. It's gorgeous kind of browny warm tones. This is a gorgeous shimmery shade. They're all, these three are all satin finishes, so none are matte. But these are all satin, and it does make them blend really nicely. They're not, like I said, they don't show up shimmer or anything like that because they are more satin, but it does help the blending process. So I've kind of got an idea of what kind of look I want to do in my head. I did a standard smoky eye with this, so I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to do something a bit different, but I'm going to try and talk my way through it, so if you wanted to recreate it, you could. Obviously you don't have to use this palette, other colours that are similar would work, but yeah, let's give this a little play. Okay, zooming you in, I am going to prep and prime my eyes as always using the Ilia eye primer. There is a little bit of concealer already over my eyes. When I was doing my base I kind of just blended it in all over, but I will take some of this just to help make sure my eyes look like a blank canvas, but also it does help the eyeshadows to adhere and last. Okay, so I'm going to dip into this slightly warmer brown up here, kind of a bit of a coppery tone. I'm going to take a little pencil brush and I'm going to kind of create a modern, a cat eye, but like a slight 60s twist is what I'm going for in my mind. So what I'm going to do is I actually want to draw or create a shape just above my crease. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look directly in my mirror so I can see where to place it with my eyes open. You don't want to do it kind of looking down or with one eye shut, because wherever you place it, if you open your eyes, you may not see that. So I'm keeping my eyes open. I'm going to start with my good eye. And just above my crease, so it's visible, I'm going to start mapping it out. And I'm going to kind of follow my natural shape to a degree, but I'm going to flick it out the end. So just look directly in the mirror and just go just above your crease. Unless your crease is visible, then you can go right into your crease. But the key is to keep your eyes open so you can see. And then I'm just going to do a gentle kind of flick up. So at the moment I'm not worrying about the blend or if it's really sharp. I'm just kind of mapping out where I want it to be. And I'm going to bring it down here as well. So kind of almost follow your natural shape of the eye, how your lid goes. You may have to adjust it slightly depending on your eye shape, but if you give the overall effect, so something like that. I'm going to create the same on the other eye and then we'll go and start the blending process. So again, I'm just looking directly in the mirror. Now this eye is slightly different shape to this eye. You can see that top bit folds over slightly more than it does on this side. So pick your best eye, that's what I do, and then you actually still kind of follow your natural eye, but you want to almost try and match them up shape wise if you can. So this inner corner bit be fine, and then I'm actually just going to bring it a little bit higher here to kind of compensate for that fold, and then map out. Take a little bit at a time, so you've got a bit of faint line to start off with. But we can easily shape and tie this up, so don't panic too much. And actually having that creamy eye primer means I can kind of rub stuff out as well if I want to. Because I didn't want that flick at the end as quite as flicked as I did it. So just like a little upward motion. So it looks, when you look at this, I have brought it slightly higher than on this eye, but it's more to compensate for that fold, so you kind of match a bit better. Once we've got the full look on, hopefully they should look relatively symmetrical. They're never going to be perfect, but they should hopefully look relatively similar. Okay, I'm just going to add another layer, just deepen it slightly. So I use quite a thin pencil brush for this. This is, I believe it's an Iconic London pencil brush. So whatever thinnest pencil brush you've got. This is a Real Techniques base shadow brush. I've just checked, there's no product on here. And what I'm going to start to do is actually above where I've put this colour, I'm going to start softening it because I don't want it to be super harsh. Because I want it to have a somewhat of a wearable feel to it. So you want like a clean brush or a brush that's not got any excess product on. And just go just above. So I'm just going back and forth. I'm using quite light pressure, so hold the brush kind of further down and you'll get a bit of a lighter pressure that way and it'll get a softer finish. Because I don't want to fully blend it so it kind of, the line goes or the shape goes, but enough you can kind of see a difference where the underside's a bit sharp but we're getting a softer top bit. And again, we can still tidy up the shape underneath if we feel like it needs to be sharper, but for now just slowly soften the top edge. And I'm very much going back and forth. I'm not going to blending up, just back and forth over the top of itself. So my brush is half on the line, half just above where I've got an eyeshadow, and I'm just buffing that way. Okay. I'm going to leave that blending there, do the other eye, and we can always tweak it in a minute. So just light pressure. Just focus on the kind of upper part of the line. Okay, so now I'm looking at both of them. This one I feel needs a little bit more product to create a little bit more of a blend like it has on this portion. I feel like this is still a bit too like a line. So I'm going to take a bit more eyeshadow and just gently go over it. We're almost re-intensifying the line, but slightly fresher eyeshadow, and then blend. I'll hopefully give us the effect. So that's giving me more what I'm after here. Okay. What I'm going to do is, whilst I've got that brush, is I'm going to get in the lighter shade here, and we're just going to highlight just above on the brow bone. Just again, just light pressure. It's going to help with the blend at the top a little bit, but also just make that pop ever so slightly. And actually, having looked at the two eyes, I think what's going on as well, this is much longer than this side. So I'm actually going to take the brush that I used for my eye primer and just gently buff away. Sometimes using a cream eye primer or a really light coverage concealer can help with eyeshadow placement. You could go in with like a powder, but sometimes just like an eye primer like this, which isn't too thick, helps erase but doesn't like add too much product there either. So I think that's better now. I think they're more matching lengthwise, so I'm happy with that. So we've got a nice little highlight going on. Okay, I'm also going to take that shade again, and we're going to pop this all over the lid. So this, you just use packing motions. I'm just patting on and just packing that colour down. Let's go right up to that line. Just add a bit of brightening effect. There. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back in with a pencil brush, taking that shade again, and I'm going to try really careful here. I'm going to focus right on this under portion of the line, just to sharpen that section up ever so slightly. So I've really taken a little, like a little bit of product, dip right into the tip, and just go right at the bottom of the line. And you can, I find it easier at this point, you can look down into the mirror because you've already created the shape. You know that is visible, and when you've got your eyes open you can kind of get away with just tilting down a little bit just to make sure you get just the underside. It gives you a bit of a sharper look. I'm going to get the same on the other side. And if you feel like you've gone too high up, you just take your brush you used to blend and just soften it slightly. But I wouldn't go over it too much, just to keep the line nice in there. So we got something like this. Now I'm going to create a bit of a cat eye now, using the darker shades. I would like a... So I'm going to take a little angle brush now. This is the Luxie 215, and it is quite a small angle brush, and kind of smaller the better for this bit. So I'm going to take this darker brown shade next. I'm using this to kind of map out my wing. So what I do first is, again, I look directly in the mirror. I don't have my eyes shut or anything like that. And I'll start with the outer corners, and actually I'm going to kind of use the end of this line up here as my guideline. So I'm going to almost take it from just on the outer portion of the lower lash line and angle it a little bit towards or in the direction of that. I want to still have a little bit of a gap, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to take any further out that way. I want it to be, don't want it to be too big. I want to still keep it quite compact, but I'll use it as a marker, and then I'm just going to go back on myself. I'm just going to take a bit at a time because this is more as a guideline, like I said. And we're going to slowly build up the colour and bring it across. And I'm not going to bring it all the way across, I'm probably going to be doing it kind of to the centre of my lid. I actually really prefer like a winged, whether it's a winged eyeliner, shadow eyeliner, only to bring it halfway across. I think it makes it look a bit more delicate and not too harsh, I think. And I really emphasise the cat eye bit because you're really focusing on the outer portion. So now I'm just slowly building this up. So something like that. So nothing too big, it kind of matches the proportions. If your eyes can take a much thicker wing and it's not going to disrupt this line, go for it. But I think for me, kind of that balance works quite nicely. You can still see the kind of 60s liner shadow we got going up here. It's a nice gap, and then just a pop of liner to kind of match. So I'm going to do the same, just deepen up a bit more. Okay, perfect. Okay, then we're going to do the same on the other eye. So again, mirror open, and again this time it is going to be more trying to match up to a degree, but I will go from the lower lash line and flick kind of towards. So I've gone a bit too angled upwards. So I'll take my brush with the eye primer and just knock it off slightly. So I want to take a little bit a less angle than that, not too much. Let's see. Something like that. And then bring it back on itself. I'm just going to pick up a little bit of eye primer. So this is it's actually a London makeup school brush I got, but it's just any kind of flat brush. Take a little bit of eye primer, not too much. And I can use that just to tidy up the edges, make it a little bit sharper. You can kind of mess with the angle as well. I am going to add something to the lower lash line because I'm going to use my favourite colour in this palette, which is this one here. This is such a gorgeous shade. It reminds me a lot of the one in Uptown Girl, which I love, because it's kind of, again, it's a translucent eyeshadow and it's just the shimmer particles are coloured. So that's what gives it its more wet finish. Like if I don't know, it's going to show my hands. It's just more, yeah, like I said, the colour particles that are coloured as opposed to the eyeshadow itself. So it just gives it much more of a wet finish. I just think the shimmer looks really pretty. And yeah, the Uptown Girl one I love, but I was really happy that was kind of very similar formula. I'm going to just take this on a pencil brush. Do you know what? I'm actually going to dip into the shade first, sorry. Pencil brush again. And I'm just going to carefully run along the lash line. So I'm going to go from where the wing starts on the outer portion and bring it across. Don't bring it all the way across. I think it looks nicer when you've got a kind of a light bit and then it kind of fades into a slightly thicker line. I think it shapes the eye really nicely. And again, having the thicker darkness on the outer portion of the eye is going to help with this cat eye effect. So I'm going to start on the outer portion just to put the most product down and obviously connect to the wing and then bring it across. So I'm just going back and forth with this and then bring it up to about here. Okay, and now we're going to dip into this gorgeous shimmer. Pencil brush again, coat the brush, and we're just going to go over the top of that. That's going to have this gorgeous shimmer to the lash line. See, that's such a pretty shimmer. These are actually really beautiful palettes, and I was saying in my live that I need to use my other ones a lot more because I've got two more. Obviously the Uptown Girl one, which I only really use a shimmer, but I need to start using kind of grey tones in there. And I have got another one which is like a pop of purple in, and I do need to play with them a lot more because they are gorgeous, gorgeous eyeshadows. Okay, I'm just going to quickly take the brush, this Real Techniques brush that I've been using, the lighter the shade, and just really pop that into the inner portion and a bit below. Don't worry too much about if you bring it a bit too far down. I think it looks quite nice when you bring a bit of a satin or a shimmer further down in the inner portion, but also what you can do is take your concealer brush that had a bit of eye primer on and just use the excess just to slowly erase. This brush and eye primer is my favourite thing to do for erasing eyeshadow. It's just quick, it's easy. I don't find it disrupts anything because the eye primer is quite thin formula. But yeah. Okay, I do think I want to pop a bit of brown eyeliner in the actual waterline. So, I'm actually going to use my Lily Lolo brown eyeliner. I use the 100% pure one a lot, but I thought let's mix it up. And I'm just going to take this in my waterline. And what I would do is a little trick. Obviously you don't want to yank your eye down. But if you just take your little finger and gently bring it down, you can fit the pencil quite nicely in there without the fear of accidentally poking your eye out. Obviously I know some people don't like putting stuff in their eyes at all, so don't do this if you don't want to. It's only if you feel comfortable to do so. Okay. Now I think the final touch is loading up the lashes. Almost out. My Ilia Fullest Voluminising Mascara. And we're going to load up the upper and the lower lashes. So I'm going to use, I like to actually angle my mirror slightly so I'm looking down. Now I can see if I'm getting to the roots, do a bit of a wriggle. and then bring it up. I also quite like to actually just blinking onto the brush as well as when I kind of brush it through blinking. I find it adds extra product and actually gets through the whole lashes quite well. I'm going to add a couple of coats. I'm going to add a second one, like more on the outer portion, to again tie in with the cat eye look we've got. Okay, I'm going to go on to the lower lash line, then I'll do that second coat like I mentioned. This time you do want the mirror more in front of you and then you bend your head down. I find it's the easiest way of doing this. I don't like to add too much to the lower lash line with mascara because I don't like the too much clumpiness. I like the real volume on the upper lashes, but not so much on the lower lashes. I'd rather just add a bit of definition than anything else. Okay, so that's probably as heavy as I'm going to go on the lower lash line. Take mascara, really coat it, and this time I'm just going to go on this outer portion here just to really intensify that bit and create more of that cat eye effect like I said. Okay, and that is the eye portion done. So like I said, nice cat eye with a 60s kind of twist, modern twist, just adding that kind of, I guess, kind of cut crease element in a way, but a slightly more softer version. Very fun on the eyes. So we're going to finish off with lips now, and I'm going to keep it very simple and nude because I think that would work perfectly. And I'm going to use my favourite lip product at the moment, which is my Ilia lip crayon in Tan Nude. I did pick up a new one, which I think I did little shorts on. It was in Pink Nude, but this one I'm really liking. I actually could do with a bit of a sharpen first. So I don't know where my sharpener's gone. Okay, we'll go with it, it's fine. Yeah, like I said, this is one of my favourite lip products at the moment. A, it's easy to apply, it's a gorgeous colour, and it does last really well throughout the day. And this is the finished look. So this is what we've got. Like I said, I really wanted to play with this palette again that my dad picked out for Christmas. It's a real gorgeous palette, really pretty, and I can see myself getting a lot of use out of it, and it makes me want to use the other ones a lot more as well. But yeah, this is what I came up with. Like I said, I want to do something different from the first smoky eye I did using it, so I went a bit more, I guess, slightly bolder, but I still think this is super pretty. It's really fun on the eyes, definitely gives like a more feline feel to the eyes and really emphasises kind of the outer portion of your eyes as well. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope kind of I made it into a bit more of a tutorial as well, because I know someone wanted eyeshadow tutorial, so I hope that was a slightly more informative way of me doing and kind of telling you what I'm doing, how I would do it, sort of thing. So let me know if you've enjoyed this type of video, and yeah, like I said, leave any future video requests down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.